Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of this Construct 3 tutorial. In this episode I'm going to be showing you how to make a very basic game. It's going to be very similar to the guided tutorial, but there will be some differences, and especially in further episodes I will be showing you how to do a lot more than the guided tutorial does, so there are reasons to keep watching these videos. So to begin, you will need to add a sprite. For those of you who are not familiar with game development terms, a sprite is basically just an image. So your main character will have a sprite, the platforms that they're staying on, those will all be sprites. Sprites are basically just images, but they are what you use in Construct 3 to make anything happen. So they are very important. What you want to do is go to this dark gray area, right click, and this bar will pop up. Click Insert New Object and scroll down to where it says Sprite. The other thing that you can do is go to the search bar and type in Sprite and it will be there. I just clicked enter. You can double click on it, you can click on it and click add. There are many different ways to go about that. What you do now is just click wherever you would like to add the sprite. So I want my sprite to be about in the middle of this gray outlined box here, so I'll click there and you'll be greeted by this window. I'll go over everything on how to use this in the next video, but for now I'm just going to pull up some sprites that I'm using for my other mice game, which is our final project in my UArts class. So I'll click that. It's going to pull up all of my textures I have. So what I'm going to do is click cat sprite and open. Now we have our little sprite here. Close out of here to show that we're done, and here it is. Our cat sprite is in the game. I'm going to zoom in by pressing and holding Control on Windows and scrolling up. There are other ways to do it. For example, if you are using a trackpad, you can just do the typical zoom in, zoom out on trackpad. I unfortunately don't know Mac well enough to know what those keys equate to, but it should be the left key on the keyboard. Hopefully if you're using a Mac you know the differences. But this is our sprite. Right now not much is happening. If we preview our game, you can see our sprite, but nothing's happening. It's just kind of existing there. That's because we haven't given it any behaviors. So what you want to do is click on the sprite, go to the left, and where it says behaviors, you want to add behaviors. You will be greeted by this one. You want to click add new behavior, and there is a lot here, but how I said we're going to make a platform game, so you want to click platform. So now we have given the platform behavior to the sprite. Let's see what happens when we run the game now. Well, cat falls because platformers have gravities and gravity and things fall. We have no floor underneath the cat, and so it just falls down. But notice how it falls off the screen. Maybe we don't want that. We want the camera to stay with the cat. So we can add a new behavior and click scroll to. If we add that in, now when we run the game, we follow the cat as it falls until it reaches the bottom of the world, and then the cat will just drop off. But it's not fun if we can't do anything, if the cat just falls. So we'll have to add another sprite in order to make sure that the cat has something to stand on. So we'll add another sprite here, open up my file again, and let's say I want this file. So now I have this little thing here, but say I am not happy with this color. I'm going to go here, I'm going to make this red. There we go. That's a lot more horrendous on the eyes, but we'll go with it. And so now we'll have it here. Let's try underneath the cat. Like, if there's gravity, then that means there should be collision too, right? Well, unfortunately not. Currently this just exists in our world, but it's almost as if it's a ghost. It's there, but it's not. So what we want to do is to click on it and give it a behavior of itself. We don't want to do the platformer one again. What we want is to do a solid. By adding solid, it kind of, well, solidifies it, means that we don't fall through it anymore if we run our game. Now we're there. We don't fall through. We are able to stand. And to show you how the rest of the platformers work, right arrow key moves it right, left arrow key moves it left, and up arrow key jumps. So now, yay, the cat exists, but I don't know, the gray background is kind of making me sad. I'm going to want to add something in. So what I'll do is I'll right click and insert new objects, but this time you don't want a sprite, you will want a tiled background. Open up the tiled background, and this one I'll just make myself because why not? I'll give a little bit of blue, throw in a little bit of clouds in the sky. Oh, that was really big. And a little bit of clouds. Cloud. Sure. But it seems kind of odd right now, right? Didn't I have more there? What you have to do is you have to drag it. It will repeat. I'm not entirely sure why Construct 3 does this. It is not my favorite, but it is what it is. So I'll drag it out to fill up the screen. Drag it up here. But there's another problem now. What happened to our player? What happens is that with layers, we are putting this in the very front. And so even though it knows that it's a background, for some reason it's still putting it in front of my cat. And I don't want that. So I'll have to right click on this, go down to Z order, and send to bottom of layer. There we go. Now we can see our cat again. But I'm trying to move the cat and I accidentally keep clicking this, and I don't like that. I want to make sure that my background won't move. So I'll do is I'll right click on it again, go down to where it says lock and lock section. Now no matter how many times I try to move it, it won't move. This is pretty helpful when you're working with things like backgrounds because it's not too often that you want the background to change. So now we have a pretty basic but I guess decent enough looking game. Well, I wouldn't really call this a game. There's not really much you can do. You jump off, you just fall. So we'll need more platforms. There are a few different ways you can go about this. You can either copy and paste it or you can clone object type. My suggestion, especially for working with platforms, is to copy and paste it, because when you do that, you are literally just taking the object and making a second of it. As you can see up here in our object types, even though we have two platforms, there is only one sprite 2. However, if I clone the object, as you can see, sprite 3 now exists, and that's only with this one. But you don't have to worry about that for now. I will mention why that can be a problem in a later video. For now, just know both of these ways work. So now we play this, and we have platforms we can jump on. Woohoo! But it still feels kind of dull. Like, think about Mario, you collect coins, Sonic, you collect rings. Don't you want something to be able to collect in this game? So I think that's why we should add a new sprite. Pop it in right here. But let's see. Beautiful. I can tell I have done a lot of artwork. So now we have these little coins. Just kind of pop one here. I forgot, another thing you can do is just hold control and drag it. You will create copies of this. This is doing the same thing as copying and pasting the object instead of cloning the object. As you can see, there's only one sprite 4 and it's not sprite 4, 5, 6, 7. But if you play this as what happened with the platforms, nothing is happening. And if you go to behaviors, there is no coin behavior. So what you'll have to do is go over to the event sheet. This will be the first time that we're using it. So what you want to do is click add event here, and you will be greeted with this one. There's two parts to adding an event. There is the condition and there is the reaction, pretty much. So what I want to do is, the condition is when our sprite touches the coins, we want the coins to disappear. So the condition, if our sprite touches the coins, if our sprite, so we know that sprite is the one we want to be working with, then we can come down here on collision with another object. We can choose the object to be sprite 4, our coins, and click done. Then we'll add an action. Our action is that the coin will disappear. So we know that we want to click our coin and we want to do destroy. So now when we play our game, when our cat interacts with the coins, they disappear. But if you look at this really closely, it looks like the cat is able to destroy the coins before it even touches them. And that is a problem with hitboxes. For those of you who are not familiar with game terminology, a hitbox is basically where the sprite actually exists, how much room it takes up in the universe. So even though you can only see it as one thing, what it actually interacts with could be larger or smaller than it is. To change the hitbox, go back to the editor, which you do by double clicking on the image, and go down to this button here. As you can see, the hitbox is all the way out here, even though the image is actually only this big. There are two ways to do it. You can either manually drag the corners down to give it a more precise one, or you can just click this button right here and crop it to what it is roughly going to be. I like that, so I'll do that and I'll close out of it. So now when I play my game, you notice I have to touch the coins now in order to destroy them. Thanks for watching. See you later.